Hello and welcome everybody to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business, here at the El Dorado Royale Spa Resort in Mexico's Riviera Maya. I'm Elliot Bullman. Before we start, remember to follow us on all our social media networks, Facebook, Twitter and Google+, and you can catch us live on MexicoNewsNetwork.com for relevant stories and news about Mexico and the world. Let's start with today's show. Mexican manufacturers of heavy goods vehicles are gearing up to surpass the record highs of 2015, when production stood at $16.5 billion and exports were sold at $13.6 billion. The main buyer of Mexican-made tractor-trailers is the United States, whose protocols and quality standards are amongst the most rigorous in the world. The industry has outlined some ambitious goals for the next 15 years, according to Miguel Elizalde Lizárraga, president of the Association of Bus, Truck and Tractor-Trailer Manufacturers, ANPACT. The 14 multinational companies affiliated to the association anticipate that by 2030, over 300,000 heavy goods vehicles will be produced and sold. This translates into growth of just over 36% compared to the 191,000 units produced in 2015. Mexico is currently the world's leading exporter of tractor-trailers, the fourth largest exporter of heavy vehicles, the sixth largest producer of motorized goods vehicles, and the seventh largest manufacturer of heavy vehicles. Manufacturers have also set themselves the goal of increasing domestic sales while strengthening their presence in Central and South America at a rate of 60,000 vehicles a year. I attribute the growth and success of this sector to several factors, one of which is Mexico's specialized workforce that has the capacity to meet stringent production standards. The aerospace industry is one of the main drivers for the Mexican economy. Not only does it create jobs and huge amounts of investment, it's also incentivizing Mexico's participation in other high value-added activities in this and other sectors. France, in particular, is a major player in Mexico's aerospace industry. Practically all the leading French aerospace groups have a presence in Mexico, are among the companies that invest the most and create the most jobs in the sector. Safran is the leading employer in Mexico's aerospace sector, which is about to open its 13th aircraft components plant in the country. Investment and trade in the aerospace industry has fortified Franco-Mexican relations, but it's common goals and values that are the real glue behind this special, long-standing relationship. Both nations believe economic integration is the best way to guarantee social development, and France has been a firm supporter of Mexico in the modernization of the free trade agreement between Mexico and the European Union. In the last decade, the aerospace sector has experienced unprecedented growth, with the number of companies operating in the industry rising from 109 in 2006 to 330 by 2016. Likewise, exports grew from $2 billion to over $7 billion in the same period. In my view, Mexico's aerospace industry is central to Franco-Mexican relations and will provide the springboard to the development of other industries between both countries. US President Donald Trump has notified British Prime Minister Theresa May that he won't accept the invitation to visit the UK while street demonstrations are planned. President Donald Trump transmitted to the British Prime Minister that he won't accept the invitation for a state visit to the UK while street protests are planned, the British newspaper The Guardian reported this Sunday. A Downing Street consultant told the British newspaper that Trump communicated those plans to May in a telephone conversation a few weeks ago, which has prompted the government to halt arrangements for a visit for the time being. The Conservative Party leader invited Trump when they met at the White House in January, and according to British media, the trip was expected to take place in June or July. At a joint press conference in Washington after that meeting, May reported that she had extended an invitation on behalf of Queen Elizabeth II to Trump and his wife, Melania, and declared herself to be delighted because the president had accepted the offer. According to the source quoted by The Guardian, the Prime Minister was surprised by the decision of the US President to delay his visit. So we're talking about Trump's postponement yet again of his trip to the UK. Joining me is Mark and Kathleen from Southampton in the UK. How are you doing, guys?
Great, how are you?
I'm very well. Welcome to Mexico. You know, this is the second time, there was a petition last year, a referendum almost, it went to the House of Commons. 100,000 people signed it saying, we don't want Donald Trump coming here, right? So, he's obviously not a worldwide popular figure. I'm a little bit surprised about London receiving him that way, though. You?
No.
Not at all, right?
And if I'm not wanted somewhere, I'm not going to go there.
Okay. So watch this space. Will he come back later, if he postpones in July, do you think we'll see him there later in the year?
I hope he's kicked out by then.
He may not even make it by then, right? In my view, a lot of British people right now are offended by what Donald Trump said, or tweeted, I should say, about the London mayor after the recent spate of attacks in London. This was all for today. Thank you for joining me here at the El Dorado Royale Spa Resort in Mexico's Riviera Maya. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Before we leave, don't forget to check out all our social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and catch us live on MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.